Hello, excellent future grad student. I'm Yomi Pukola, and we'll discuss how to craft effective cold emails for your graduate school application, how to reach out to potential supervisor. Most application needs you to reach out to potential potential supervisor rather. So have you been wondering how to reach out to potential advisors, potential supervisor? I will show you the exact way how to write a perfect cold email to get professor attention, to get a supervisor for your graduate program. So you see, most programs, like when you are looking for funding, most programs need you to look for a potential supervisor. They request you, and even programs that does not require you for a potential supervisor, when you find yourself a potential supervisor, it increases your chance of acceptance. It increases it by a certain percentage when you were able to find yourself, especially when they say, oh, when you hear statement like supervisors are not needed for this program. If you take a step further to find yourself one, and you find yourself one with funding, then that grant automatically find a way to get funding. So I'll be teaching you effective way to write potential supervisors. Most times when people don't get response back, it's because you are not writing it the right way. I've reached out to supervisors and I've always get response. You know, getting response is one thing, but that shows you write. Even if you write a supervisor and the supervisor says no, you getting a response shows you write something right. So let's dive into it. How the truth is, many qualified candidates get overlooked because of poorly written code emails. So how to write a good code emails. Now you have to start with the subject line. You keep it specific and professional. Example is prospective PhD student, prospective master student, or future master student. You cannot go ahead and put your title, your research topic like prospective PhD student, machine learning research. So you've included your interest clearly. And if you are not ready to make this video, is why most people don't write code, effective code emails, because they are not doing their homework. If you are lazy and you cannot do your homework, you can't just write code emails, because there are certain things you have to do for you to write a professor. Before you go ahead and put prospective PhD student research, machine learning research, that shows the supervisor is into machine learning research. If the supervisor is not into machine learning research and you go ahead to put that, it does not align. So you have to do is you've identified a supervisor, you've identified 2 or 3 supervisors that you feel your research interests align. So let your subject line be something like that. Then you have to use for your salutation when you are writing me. If it's dear professor something, put dear professor, and you put the last name. You put their last name, not their first name now, because you don't know them, they don't know you. So you put their, let's say their Professor Mark. If Mark is the last name, just put their Professor Mark. If it's not professor, if it's doctor, their Dr. Mark. You have to know, and you have to write the name correctly. Pay attention to details. It states whether they will respond to your mail, because if you write me and you are not writing, if I'm a lecturer or I'm your professor, you write me and you are not writing my name correctly, especially you are writing code email, I can just decide to overlook it. So likewise, you have to write and write effectively. Pay attention to details. You have to, then in your introduction, you have to write your name. Just say, I'm Yomi Pukola. Maybe I'm a graduate student. I'm Yomi Pukola. I graduated from blah 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 university. Or you are still in that university, and maybe you are still a master student somewhere, or you are even a bachelor student somewhere. You want to do your masters, or you've graduated from something. I'm Yomi Pukola, graduate student of Usuka University, Nigeria. So something like that. You can just put something like that, and then you mention that what you major in, Then the papers that you've read, the research papers about this of the supervisor also, and you make sure it's aligned. Research alignment, this is where it matters. So your name, you've introduced your name, where you are, your school, maybe you graduated from, and your research interest. That you say, oh, your research interest align with his research interest. You've read through his paper. Let the supervisor know you've read through his research, and you see that this is where your research align. Let's say, oh, I am Yomi Popolam, a graduate student of so university, and I studied machine learning for forecasting inflation, and I'm interested in the lecturers for machine learning for forecasting inflation too. These are the methods that I use in my own for machine learning methods. The lecturer used the machine learning method. So you see that there are some alignment. Even if you don't use the specific methods the lecturer use, you already have idea. You use certain method, and the lecturer is using certain method, or your methods are even the same, and you have to highlight your relevant skills that you have. Be specific with the research project you've done. That's what I said, that I have machine learning for forecasting inflation. I use this method. This is my research question. This is what you answer. Then connect it. The thing is, identify reference where there are specific projects. I've listed out the point. When in research alignment, identify their specific research project, connect it to your experience, mention relevant skills and coursework. Be specific about your research interest. Be specific about your research interest and keep it relevant. So one thing that you can still mention in the email is, if your CGPA is strong, highlight it. Your relevant research experience. If you have publication and presentation, just keep it brief and be clear about what you want. Let them know if they are accepting students. This next step is ask and be clear about what you want. If they are accepting students, mention the specific program and time. So before you do this thing, it's not that admission opens September, you are reaching out to supervisor September. Most of the time it does not work that way. These things, if someone that will apply for admission I'm making this video February 2020, February 2025. You want to apply for schools in September 2025, and you know you need a supervisor. By now you should be reaching out to them. By now you should be reaching out to them, not that you wait for September before you start reaching out to them. So then you can ask if the supervisor will be open to discussion, and if they will reply. So these are how to get to write effective code email. You know, if you're applying September now, that shows you want to resume for 2026. So you just process your student for 2026. That means you are resuming for 2026. By now you would have secured yourself a supervisor if you start out now. And what are the mistakes you have to avoid? Avoid this fatal errors. Mass emails. When you just put out mass email, professor can tell. When you spell their name wrongly, I've mentioned that earlier. Not checking if they are accepting students. You have to check if the professor too are accepting students. They're writing too much personal history. Take it brief, make it brief. Don't be too informal too. Don't be too informal. So don't be too informal, and start 12 months before. I will recommend you, you know, I'm saying by now you should start. I will even recommend you to start 12 months to 18 months before application deadlines. That is the recommended. That is the way you can get yourself a supervisor. Send during academic year. Most times when you want to send code email to supervisor, send it during academic year. Don't send it during summer, when they're on summer break. And most times they don't joke with their summer breaks too. So they won't read your mail. By the time they come back, a lot of mails are packed up. So don't write during summer. Follow up 1 week after to 2 weeks. Then keep track of who you have contacted. Keep track of who you have contacted. So the thing is, as I said earlier, remember your salutation, write good salutation, your good introduction, your good subject line, make it brief. Your research alignment, let it align. And if you've published work before, let it also state it there in your email. Then remember, research alignment, professionalism, and conciseness are key. Research alignment, professionalism, conciseness are key. So these are ways for you to write good, effective code emails that will get application, that will get you supervisor to respond to you. So thank you, and I'm Yomi Pupola. Please like, follow, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Then I'll see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye.